a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.
Drivers, start your engines. Pull those belts down tight one more time, warm up those tires, hit your marks, and let's go racing, boys and girls. Nascar, Indycar, Formula One, Formula E, and NHRA Racing Talk. This is the Championship Racing Network. Now here is your hosts, Steve West and Matt Nicholson, with producer John Myers.
Indeed, the gang is all here. Matt and myself in studio, producer John on CRN Live on YouTube, so we're ready to go. And boy, do we have a week. Did we have a week? Silly season news from Formula E of all things. Scheduling news from NASCAR. No, they haven't put out the 2026 schedule just yet, but we continue to get bits and pieces, so we'll fill in what we know. Got injury news from the NHRA from last week. A name change from one of our tracks. Got a rumor mill that's just going absolutely bonkers in Formula One. Got a truck series team that is changing things around because apparently they think things aren't looking good right now. We also have the idea of how much more time we're going to see with Jimmy Johnson on the track, or with Denny Hamlin for that matter. That and much more coming up on CRN as we go green with this particular weekend edition right after this.
Stay right here for more on the Championship Racing Network. Four tires and 2 cans of fuel, and we're back to more racing action on the Championship Racing Network.
Indeed. Good morning. Welcome in. We appreciate it. Producer John is on CRN Live on YouTube, as usual. We appreciate him doing that. Feel free to say hello to him there. Myself, Matt Nicholson, in studio. Matt, we'll go ahead and go with the important question first. How's the recovery rolling along?
Getting there, step by step.
Yep. Voice getting a little bit stronger. You had a
little bit, yeah.
You had fun with yards yesterday, so if it sounds like you're...
Yeah.
I understand.
So
I did that on...
So if we have a hint of James Earl Jones, it shows up.
Yeah.
It's not me on purpose.
I did that on Thursday, and yeah, Friday morning, all the dust in the air and everything. I understand. Glad to see that you're feeling a little bit better. Let's get into what happened last weekend on the track, catch you up so that you're ready to go for this weekend, and it's a busy weekend this weekend as well. Last Saturday, we finally got a question answered. We were kind of curious as to how good Connor Zilic could actually be. We're questioning that when it comes to SVG2 because we know that they were good on road courses. The question was, were they going to be able to do it on ovals? Zilic apparently can. He led 77 of the rain-shortened 134 laps last weekend. Mother Nature forced an early end of the race finally when things got called. And the thing about it is, though, he didn't just luck into it. Again, you lead 77 laps. You qualify third on the day. You run first or second for the majority of the laps run. And you beat the veteran Eric Almirola at Dover.
Right.
That's something to raise a banner about.
Yeah, you can definitely hang your banner for that one, no doubt.
Almirola second place, Brandon Jones third, then Justin Allgaier, Jesse Love, Ryan Sieg, Taylor Gray, Sheldon Creed, William Sawalich, Kristen Eckes make up the top 10. Now with the win, Zilic now becomes your 1 seed for the playoffs. He's got 4 wins, 3 wins each for Justin Allgaier and Austin Hill. Single-time winners are Jesse Love, Brandon Jones, Sammy Smith, and Nick Sanchez. As for those that are in on points, Sam Mayer leads them. He's trailed by Carson Quapple, then Sheldon Creed, Taylor Gray, Jeb Burton. Jeb's lead over his cousin Harrison is a slim 7 points, so nothing really settled there. Let's see what else we got here. It took Chevrolet until well past halfway through the season to find a driver to put him into victory lane, and now they've actually got 2 wins. Both by the same driver, Pato O'Ward. He didn't lead the most laps. That honor belonged to, shockingly, Alex Palou with 37 laps led, but 30 laps led for Pato O'Ward, nothing to sneeze at, and most importantly, he led the last one. He bested Renus VK to the checkers by less than half a second. Kiffin Simpson third, Colton Herter fourth, Marcus Erickson, Kyle Kirkwood, Graham Rahal, notice a name we haven't mentioned yet, Callum Ilott, David Malukas, and Scott Dixon make up the top 10. That guy, Alex Palou, the points leader, suffered a late in the race, and he couldn't do any better than finish 12th on the day. Still leads the points, pretty comfortable margin too. 99 points separating him out, 536 to 437 over Pato O'Ward. Time's running out quick. Kyle Kirkwood's at 363, Scott Dixon 362, Christian Lundgaard holds down 5th. He's at 317. Robert Schwartzman, Lewis Foster, they are in a flat-footed tie with 159 points in the rookie standing. Schwartzman actually holds the tiebreaker. He's got 2 top 10s. Jacob Abel sits third with 95 points. Honda maintains control of the engine manufacturer standings over Chevrolet, a gap of 1,223 points to 1,018. Sunday, Dover, Mother Nature played a little bit there as well. NASCAR trying to get in the Cup Series race. Fighting through it was Denny Hamlin. He was able to claim the win at Dover for the 2nd year in a row, despite it taking overtime. Hamlin's win was his 4th of the year, 58th of his career to date. Bested his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate Chase Briscoe in order to do it. Briscoe settled for 2nd. Then Alex Bowman, Kyle Larson, Ty Gibbs, Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace, Ryan Blaney, Chris Buescher, and Brad Keselowski fill out the top 10. Hamlin takes over the Cup standings now with 4 wins. 3 wins each for Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, and Shane Van Gisbergen. Plus you got single-time winners that include Chase Elliott, William Byron, Ryan Blaney, Chase Briscoe, Joey Logano, Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, and Josh Berry. Those that are in on points, that ever-shrinking list, Tyler Reddick, Alex Bowman, Chris Buescher, and Bubba Wallace. Wallace's lead over Ryan Preece is a slim 16 points, and we still got 4 races left in the regular season. That includes Watkins Glen, and it also includes the regular season finale, which is Daytona, and as we always know, Daytona is a wild card.
And then some.
Kyle Busch sits 39 back, Ty Gibbs 52 behind, so mathematically they're still well within shooting distance. Finally, we get out west, and the NHRA running the Muckleshoot Casino Resort NHRA Northwest Nationals. Top field, the finals came down to a battle between Sean Langdon and Brittany Force. Now, as we talked about during crossed flags earlier this week, Brittany Force set a brand new speed record during the qualifications round, and she was able to get to the finals. But that's where she watched Langdon get the jump, and then she lost tracks, and so she had to shut her ride down. Langdon rolls on to the win. 3.662 ET, 337.07 miles per hour. Marks win number 3 for the year 2025 for Sean Langdon, number 22 for his career. Funny car final came down to a duel between Matt Hagan and Ron Capps. Hagan was a hair quicker off the light. He rolls on to the tight win, 3.904 ET, 331.94 miles per hour. That's his first win of 2025, but the 53rd win of his career. Pro Stock Finals came down to a battle between Dallas Glenn and Jed Coughlin Jr. Coughlin red lighting with a successful run. Dallas Glenn would get the win. He did just that. Got the jump off the light properly, then shut it down, resulting in a very pedestrian 17.42 second ET at 62.72 miles per hour. It was a nice leisurely little Sunday afternoon drive down the track.
That it was.
Glenn's 4th win of the year, 17th of his career so far. And then Richard Gadsden versus Gage Herrera in the Pro Stock Motorcycle Finals. Care to take a guess? Yeah. Herrera gets the jump off the light, gets the win too, 6.690 ET, 201.55 miles per hour. That marks win number 4 of 2025 in his short career, where he's already claimed 25 wins. All right, so with the win, Sean Langdon takes back the top fuel points lead. He's up 12 points over Tony Stewart. Justin Ashley's now 93 back. Doug Kalita 171 down, 227 behind his Brittany Force. Austin Prock continues as your funny car points leader. He's up 140 on his teammate Jack Beckman with the win. Matt Hagan's 3rd, 166 back. 177 down Ron Capps, and Paul Lee is 224 out of 1st. Pro Stock car is led by Dallas Glenn. He's up 36 on Greg Anderson. Matt Hartford's 335 down. Corey Reed's 385 back. Eric Latino 487 in arrears. I guess we don't have to worry too much about anybody beyond the first 2.
Yeah, he's done.
And then, not surprisingly, Gage Herrera leads Pro Stock motorcycle points by 138 over Richard Gadsden. Matt Smith's 143 down. Angie Smith's 344 back, and 361 out is John Hall. Not exactly close there either.
Nope.
All right, this weekend, plenty of racing. Actually began last night in Indianapolis. Craftsman Truck Series running the T-Sport 200 at Indy Raceway Park, IRP. Matt, you got kind of the breakdown of it there?
There really wasn't much of a breakdown because Lane Riggs won in a walk-off, leading 160 of the 200 laps.
That'd do it.
Yeah. Corey Day, career best for him in 2nd.
Somebody we need to watch out for?
I wouldn't turn an eye to it.
Okay.
For sure. Corey Heim, Grant Enfinger, Ty Majeski, Chandler Smith, Daniel Hemrick, Tyler Ankrum, Ross Chastain, and Rajah Caruth was your top 10.
That's the official top 10.
Yep.
Before it happened, Stuart Friesen actually claimed 3rd place.
Was 3rd but then he got DQ'd on a front ride height violation.
Oops. So with Riggs's win, the standings break down like this. Corey Heim with 5 wins and his finish last night. He clinches the regular season title with 2 races left in the regular season. Riggs has 2 wins now, so he's all alone in 2nd. I'd say all alone. He takes over 2nd place, besting Chandler Smith in a tiebreaker, those for 2 wins. With 1 win to their record each, there's Tyler Ankrum, Daniel Hemrick, Stuart Friesen again had a 3rd place finish, DQ'd, front of the truck deemed too low in post-race inspection last night. Not that it would have made that much of a difference in the grand scheme of things. Still only 1 win. And Rajah Caruth rounds out that group. As for those who were in on points, they're led by Grant Enfinger, Mobile, Alabama's own. Then you got Ty Majeski and Caden Honeycutt. Honeycutt holds a big enough lead over Jake Garcia and those below him that it's really going to take somebody winning in the final 2 races to knock Honeycutt out of the playoffs. Because, yeah, the gap from 10th to 11th is big enough to where that's pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
This morning, the weekend actually began with Formula One. They held a sprint race over at Spa-Francorchamps. Oscar Piastri was on the pole. Max Verstappen was on the front row. Listen to this as I was rolling on my way in on Sirius XM satellite radio. Verstappen wasted very little time taking advantage of this low drag setup on his racer. Got around Piastri on lap 1, rolled to the win in a 15-lap shootout. Let's see what else we got here. Piastri was second. Not that far back was his teammate Lando Norris. Charles Leclerc was fourth. Esteban Ocon fifth for Haas F1. Carlos Sainz sixth. Rookies Ollie Behrman and Isaac Hadjar round out the top 8. And I only mention the top 8 because only the top 8 get points in a sprint race.
Yeah, I got it right here.
8 for the winner and 1 for 8th place. We'll update the points on that next week. But
the result of the sprint, as you said, Verstappen, Piastri, Norris was your top 3 on the podium. Leclerc, Esteban Ocon 5th, Carlos Sainz 6th, Oliver Behrman 7th, Isaac Hadjar 8th, Gabriel Bortoleto 9th, Liam Lawson 10th, Sonoda, Russell, Stroll, Alonso, Hamilton, Albon, Antonelli, Hulkenberg, Colapinto, and Gasly rounded out the field. Gasly
had a problem.
Yeah,
he was supposed to start up fairly high in the field, but had to pull the car off.
He made 12 of the 15 laps.
Yeah, he had to pull the car off because they found a water leak in the car. So they worked on the car, got the car out. He finished 2 laps down, and to their credit, I'll give them this.
Right.
Alpine needs all the help they can get, so putting him out there, they used it as kind of a test session.
True.
So we'll see whether or not that pays off when it comes to qualifying later on this morning and, of course, the race for tomorrow morning. Speaking of this morning, final racing weekend of the season for Formula E. They get in the first race of the doubleheader later on this morning over in London. It'll be happening just after we get off the air. London E-Prix is going to be on the 20-turn, 1.3-mile-long course that is unique in the fact that it goes both outdoors and indoors. It's called the Excel Center or the Excel Track or whatever circuit. They love the word circuit over there. Today's race will kick off somewhere on TV at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central Time. Matt, they just get done with qualifying over there, though.
Yeah, for the Marvel Fantastic Four London E-Prix.
Nice little advertising there.
Starting grid, pole sitter Mitch Evans, Nick DeVries outside of pole, Pascal Wehrlein, Dan Ticktum, Nick Cassidy, Max Gunther, Stoffel Van Dorn, Jake Hughes, Eduardo Mortara, and Nico Muller, the top 10.
There you go. Also coming up today, assuming Mother Nature cooperates, IHRA competitors get into race number 2 of the Outlaw Nitro Series. It'll be at Milan Dragway in Michigan. Eliminations get rolling about 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central Time. Xfinity Series going to the Brickyard, Pennzoil 250 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That'll be on the CW and IRN radio starting at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Central Time. And Sunday's a busy day. Starts with the F1 Moet and Chandon Belgian Grand Prix, 19-turn, 4.3-mile-long, speedy Spa-Francorchamps road course. Airs on ESPN starting at 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central Time. A.M. p.m. Get your mornings and afternoons right, West. NHRA heading out to wine country for the Denso Sonoma Nationals. We got some news coming out of there. That's at Sonoma Dragway. Eliminations get rolling at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Central Time. Think about this. These guys are on the West Coast. 9:30 a.m. Central Time is when eliminations start. That means it starts at 7:30 a.m. bright and early out on the West Coast.
Here's your wake-up call, ladies and gentlemen that are camped out at Sonoma.
Fox Sports 1's going to pick up the coverage starting about 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central Time. Final race of the Formula E season will get underway Sunday morning. Same XL course for the London E-Prix today, airing somewhere. Couldn't find it. Noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central Time. You know, CBS Sports is a fantastic source of finding where they televise their sports.
They do.
Jeez. Cup Series going to get in the Brickyard 400 presented by PPG. That'll be on TNT and IRN radio. That'll start at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central Time. And oh, by the way, IndyCar's out in California, too. They're running the Java House Grand Prix of Monterey, so the San Francisco Bay Area has no lack of racing activity going on in their general area. WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, the 2.23-mile-long course that's got 11 turns, including that famous corkscrew S-turn and elevation drop, all in the same one. Fox and IRN Radio have the coverage starting at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central Time, and if you believe it or not, that covers all of the series that we covered that are in season. And I say that because, well, we've got IROC. which actually will have a full race coming up here in just, a week, I think, maybe 2.
Mm-hmm.
So effectively, all the series that we cover are in action this weekend.
Yeah, IHRA is currently in a weather delay for fog.
I'm shocked
that they got started early this morning too for eliminations for the Pro-Am series, Pro-Am division.
Well, they would like to avoid what they did the first round of the Outlaw Nitro things, where weather came in and it got delayed till Sunday. Yep. And while it's good that they had Sunday to be able to do it, they'd like to avoid doing that again if they could.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's all the updates, and when we come back, because really, you could argue what the biggest news story of the week was, but because of the injury that was suffered in the NHRA, that is where we're actually going to lead off with, and it kind of fits because last night some more big news came out of the NHRA because they began qualifying last night in Sonoma.
So if you were keyed into an NHRA channel on social media and you had alerts from that channel at a late hour last night, you
like
now
that
know
guy
why.
Did? Yeah, you know why. But if not, stick around. We're going to show you some eye-popping stuff here coming up and give you an update on some injuries. Heck, we just got Matt's surgery update and his recovery process. Let's give you another update next.
We will be right back with more on the Championship Racing Network.
August 16th, 2025.
For more action on the Championship Racing Network.
Welcome back in. Hope everything is going well on this weekend. I'm Steve West. Matt Nicholson here in the studio with me. Producer John on CRN Live on YouTube. If you're over there, say hello to him whenever you get the opportunity. Starting off with drag racing, because Top Fuel driver Sean Reed suffered a big accident last weekend in the Northwest Nationals. It was during the third round of qualifying. It's funny, though, Reed actually won the pairing. He was ahead of his competitor when his right rear tire blew out. And this is never a good thing. That prompted his dragster to get out of control, cross the center line, hit the left side wall before coming to a stop. Team said that Reed was alert. He was talking to the NHRA medical team. When he was examined on site by the NHRA chief medical officer, Dr. Surface, but it was determined that he needed to be taken to a hospital, and that's where he went for further evaluation.
I saw something that came out about what happened while that tire blew. Part of the clutch come apart and hit the tire and cut the tire.
Sliced the tire. Gotcha.
Yep.
As the week went along, update on Sean Reed shows he is in recovery. Says he's looking forward to getting back into a Top Fuel dragster soon. The Washington State native said he was looking forward to racing in his home state, but in the crash, he suffered injuries that kept him from being able to continue on. Injuries to his left hand that were serious enough that he actually lost his index finger. They had to take it all the way off. Had also a pin placed in his thumb, and he suffered 2 broken ribs. Yeah, that'll keep you from racing. And I got to admit, not having suffered that situation, I've got all 10 fingers on both hands. I do wonder what adjustment he's got to make for losing the pointer finger.
Well, first off, that's going to be, you're going to have a modified glove made.
Yeah.
Because you can't have the index finger part of it just flopping around.
Yeah. No, that doesn't work.
The other part, if he's got a pin placed in his thumb,
that means he's not got a whole lot of movement.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of movement, so
shifting becomes a situation.
Top Fuel, you don't shift.
They don't shift anymore?
No, they don't shift in Top Fuel.
I'm behind the times. What do you want?
The way the Top Fuel wheel is, it's kind of like in a V shape. You got the 2 handles on the side right there.
Yeah.
He's probably, I don't see him driving within the next month, personally.
You think he's going to be back by the end of the year?
Maybe. But that's going to be, he's basically, if you've taken this out of the picture, you're holding the wheel just like this.
Yeah.
If he's still got that pin in his thumb is going to be in that somewhat of a shape. So you can probably see that his thumb is going to be laying on part of the grip, laying there, holding the wheel.
Resting almost on the top edge of
resting on that.
Yeah. So he's effectively holding on the left side with 3 fingers. He doesn't really have the ability to do it.
3 fingers
with the
and
thumb
a palm.
at all.
3 fingers and a palm. And
so he's going to have to strengthen that part of his hand.
For sure.
Once this situation with his thumb is taken care of, now he's got to work on strengthening that
because
hand.
Because of how the G-force transition, let's call it the G-force transition is. Because I have had a Top Fuel competitor tell me personally, and it has been said on this very platform, you go from approximately plus 6 Gs, and at the end, you're going from plus 6 Gs to negative 6 Gs when the car's slowing down. That's a 12 G swing.
Yeah.
That's going to be some force on there.
Right.
And losing a finger in that manner, talking with a helmet on, that automatically tells me right there he did not let go of the wheel.
Oh, yeah. And then
he didn't let go of it.
And then the other side of it is he's got to give it plenty of time. With 2 broken ribs, you don't want a 12G turnaround slamming up against the belt.
Absolutely
like
not.
So, yeah. Reed said this week, quote, obviously you never want a race weekend to go like that, but I'm already on the mend. First of all, I want to thank the Safety Safari and the whole NHRA team for everything they do to keep us safe out there. Have the best fans in the world, and I appreciate the thoughts and prayers from our extended racing family. He did actually get released from the hospital on Sunday, the day after he was admitted. As for a pending return to racing, Reed commented this, quote, I'm going to be back out there as soon as I can. I don't have a target return date of yet, and it may require a little adjusting, but it'd take more than 1 missing digit to keep me down. How about 2 broken ribs? There's nowhere I'd rather be than back out at the track behind the wheel of my dragster chasing that Wally trophy. I understand that.
The wheel of your brand new dragster, because that one is now a boat anchor.
Yeah. But, I get it. I mean, racers are racers. They want to go after that next trophy. Yep. That's what they do.
Absolutely.
So I get it.
Been there, done that.
Here we go. Following the first race of the West Coast Swing in the NHRA, we now are officially locking participants into the countdown to the championship as well. And there's this weekend and 2 more, so 3 more events before the countdown officially begins. But in all, over the 4 divisions that are in the Mission Foods Drag Racing Division Series, 7 drivers are now locked into the battle for the titles in their particular divisions. Those locked in from Top Fuel include Sean Langdon and Tony Stewart. From Pro Stock Car, it's Dallas Glenn and Greg Anderson. And for Pro Stock Motorcycle, 3 riders are locked in. I know we're all shocked by Gage Herrera, but Richard Gadsden and Matt Smith will also be battling for the title officially. Interestingly, nobody from Funny Car has locked in yet, but that probably changes after this weekend. Now, those of you watching on CRN Live, you're about to see something that should be eye-popping, because if you checked out this week's Cross Flags podcast on CRN Live on YouTube, you heard Matt and I talking about a new NHRA speed record that Brittany Force set. Last weekend at the Northwest Nationals, during the qualifying round, she set a brand new speed record of 341.65. And it wasn't like it blistered the old one, but I mean, what, 3/4 tenths was it? I forget what the gap was between that and the previous record.
A couple.
Okay. So Matt and I were sitting there wondering throughout the course of the Cross Flags podcast, when might we see 342?
Never.
Brittany Force said, hold my beer.
I don't think it was a hold my beer moment. I think it was like, just the heck with it. Let's just go.
Yeah. Challenge accepted. I'll do it. Shocking that Brittany Force is the one to do it. Brittany Force rolls down last night. This was round 1 of qualifying?
2.
Round 2 of qualifying, thank you. At Sonoma, not only broke 342, she busted into the 343s. New NHRA speed record pass clocked at a 3.645 ET, 3.645 seconds from line to line. Trap speed 343.16 miles per hour, and the scoreboard shows it.
Sonoma, I'll just say Sonoma was apparently in really good shape last night for speed-wise.
And apparently it was fairly cool, too.
Apparently so, because at the detailed results that I'm looking at right here on NHRA.com from the qualifying rounds, Q1, you have speeds of Ida Zetterstrom, 328.7. Josh Hart, 331.2. Clay Milliken, 335.1. Brittany Force in round 1. In round 1, she destroyed the Sonoma track speed record at 338.9.
And then turned around and did it again.
Doug Coletta, 335.7. Stewart, 328.6. You go to Q2. Not many ran in Q2. Antron Brown, 332.1. Josh Hart, 328.6. Force to 343.16. Doug Coletta, 332.8. Clay Milliken, 330.8. I mean, Funny Car wasn't that much slower either. You had Funny Car in Q2. You had Spencer Hyde at a 333.5. So the track apparently was in very good shape last night for fast speeds like that.
It's going to be fun to watch the rest of this weekend over there.
Yep.
And we've talked quite a bit about how the owner of the IHRA, Daryl Cuddle, in leading up to what we are dealing with now, which is the Outlaw Nitro Series, was buying several dragways in preparation for the 2025 season because, again, he wants to take the IHRA and place it on level footing with their rival, the NHRA. And one of those tracks he bought was Michigan's Milan Dragway in Milan, Michigan. Under Cuddle, he began updates and upgrades to the facility, and it includes a name change, and he is changing it to Durana Dragway. Track opened as Milan Dragway back in 1963, has hosted local bracket racing all the way up to national events in that time. But you asked why the name change. Cuttle says that it reflects the IHRA's new investment into the series through the leadership not only of Cuttle, but of Durana Motorsports, which is a subsidiary ownership group of the IHRA. So he's got Durana Dragway here, and one of the other tracks is set to undergo
National Trail. Did that change the name of National Trail as well?
Yeah. So I don't think he's going to use Durana across the board.
I hope not. Let the tracks have some of their own identity.
Yeah, exactly. But it does reflect the fact that he is putting a massive investment into this sport, into this series.
He's got.
And I do appreciate that.
Well, yeah, he's got a little bit of work to do. I mean, in something you're getting back off the ground, yes, anybody's going to have a little bit of work to do. But after the National Trail event, I think he's off to a decent start.
Yeah. And here's the thing. He's going to have to, at some point in time, figure out the speed gap. Because we were talking about how the winners there, they were in the 320 mile per hour range, and now you got Brittany Force blasting through 342 and up into 343. Well, so there's a speed gap between the NHRA and the IHRA.
They're running a shorter distance.
Yeah, I get it, but still.
A shorter distance, but they need to, considering that your nitro cars are basically stepping one step down from NHRA to IHRA to run and fine-tune their programs, let them run the distance that they run in NHRA.
Yeah, let's go head-to-head. Let's go head-to-head and foot-to-foot.
Yeah, go head-to-head with them.
Yeah, bring it on. If you're going to, if you want to be on a level ground with them, go by their rules.
And yeah, they need to, because there's a couple of events I think the latter Nitro events, couple of last two, they're only running to the 660.
Yeah,
that's
real short.
Too short.
Yeah,
way
that's
too
real
short.
Real short. All right, let's see. We got enough time. Let's go ahead and talk about this here, and we'll probably spend a good amount of time on the commentary on this, because we're not the only ones that have got doubts, let's say.
I'm questioning this of the location.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Cup Series. Biggest news out of the Cup Series this past weekend, that all those rumors of a street course race in San Diego have now come to fruition. It was announced officially on Wednesday of this week. NASCAR's official social media announced it by proclaiming, quote, Project Race the Base. We're bringing a different kind of speed to U.S. Navy base Coronado in 2026. Race is going to take place the weekend of June 19th through the 21st. So a little bit earlier than what Chicago has been running. They've been around the July 4th weekend.
Yeah, Father's Day weekend.
And it's going to keep a street race on the schedule in place of Chicago. As you noted last week, if you were listening to the big show, they're going to take 2026 off at least. This also has NASCAR celebrating, and I'll admit to this is kind of a cool aspect of it. This has NASCAR helping celebrate the country's 250th birthday by racing on one of the most famous bases that the U.S. Navy uses, since it's kind of the basis for the Top Gun movies and such. So
bite my lip.
I get that kind of cool aspect of it, because, I mean, the military has always had flyovers over NASCAR races, every single one of them. Now they get to go and actually race on a Navy base. So that kind of aspect makes it kind of cool. But again, we're still questioning a lot when it comes to this particular event. Ben Kennedy, who's NASCAR's, and put this on a business card, by the way, NASCAR's Executive VP and Chief Revenue and Racing Innovations Officer, put out a statement in relation to this whole announcement, quote, as part of our nation's 250th anniversary, we're honored for NASCAR to join the celebration as we host our first race at a military base, Naval Base Coronado. NASCAR San Diego weekend will honor Navy's history and the men and women who serve as we take the best motorsports in the world to the streets of Naval Base Coronado.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
Now, here's the thing. Matt sent me this, and this is what is considered to be the basic layout of the track if you're looking at CRN Live on YouTube. Here's the thing. Officials have said that the course layout is not finalized.
It will be ran in a counterclockwise direction.
Okay.
Because there was a video that surfaced that Bob Pockris put up. He was talking to Ben Kennedy, and they was standing on of all things, standing on the air traffic control tower at a Navy base.
Okay.
And he was pointing out to the directions. If you look in the bottom part of the course, that's going to be the front stretch area where the pit road and the start finish line is.
Yeah.
Right there where the naval carrier is, that's going to be the turn 1, 2, 3 area. That
Okay.
out of Ben Kennedy's mouth.
All right.
The biggest questions I've got into this, because
Just
what
one?
I did, yeah, just a couple.
All right.
And what I did is I looked at this photo on a computer, and then I turned around and I pulled up on maps on my phone to look at a satellite view of this exact area.
Mm-hmm.
We're shutting down tarmacs and runways at a United States military installation.
Yeah.
So if we're doing this, are we sending all naval operations to Miramar for the weekend?
It's a good question.
1. 2, I really hope that when pen got put to paper to get this to put together, that security patterns were already being implemented and designed to put in place. Because if it's not logistically taken care of properly,
It's going to be a mess.
this is going to be a security nightmare, because we're going to let tens of thousands of fans onto a United States naval installation.
Yeah.
3, if Tom Cruise, Miles Teller, and Ed Harris are not there doing the command, we riot.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm with you on that. And I've never been to San Diego. I've been to California on a number of occasions in my life, but I've never been further south than Los Angeles.
Same here.
So I don't know San Diego, but in listening to people who have had experience in San Diego, there's basically about 2 bridges to get across to get to this naval base, from what I'm hearing, and a ferry.
So we're going to ferry the haulers across on a ferry. Like, hey, here we come.
This is going to be a logistically very interesting situation for them, getting the fans in, getting the fans out, and dealing with, as you mentioned, the fact that you're putting thousands. I'm not even going to try and give it a number because I don't know exactly how many people they're going to allow into the grandstands, but you're talking potentially thousands of fans onto a naval base. How are you going to do with this? Logistically, this could be a nightmare.
Now, the upper half up there by the bay, I'm wondering who's going to send who into the bay. That's a prime shot to do so.
Sure.
But the left-hander and right-hander that goes back onto the upper part of the helicopter tarmac, why do I have this feeling that they're going to put the barriers down there and have a strip, but have helicopters on both sides racing through the helicopters on the tarmac? Why do I have that feeling?
Well, you want as much visually as you can possibly get, I guess.
I
don't know.
And it seemed when Ben was on that video, and I know we got to go to break.
Yeah.
But it seemed when Ben was on that video, all he was concerned about was the backdrop and the layout.
Well, yeah.
Why are we worried about that versus what kind of a product and kind of race we're going to put on?
Yeah.
Why are we worried about that?
Well, and that's what we're going to talk about next, because, how long is this course? How long is the race going to be? What's it officially going to be titled? What does the Navy think of this? We've got statements from them coming up as well. Plus, we'll talk about Denny Hamlin and his future at Joe Gibbs Racing and in the Cup Series. And Jimmy Johnson's talking about his future within the Cup Series as well, not just as an owner. That coming up.
We will be right back with more on the Championship Racing Network. Fuel only. Go, go, go. We're back to the Championship Racing Network.
Yeah, welcome back in. Talking about this situation where NASCAR announced this week where they're going out to San Diego and they're going to run on Naval Base Coronado, Naval Air Station Coronado for all intents and purposes. As we left off, we were talking about how the course not yet finalized. We got to look at what's probably going to be the basic, at least basic layout. Details probably still to come. But if they go with what the plan is, the course is set to be about 3 miles in length. Word is that the race is going to be named the Navy 250. So you can start to kind of work out some of the math and figure that race is going to be somewhere just under 100 laps in all likelihood.
It'd probably be about 80, 82 laps.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
And here's the other side of it, because, for example, when they raced at Sonoma, technically the length that they gave in the title of it, Safe Mart 350, that's kilometers. So are we talking actual miles here, or are we talking 250 kilometers?
Yeah, there needs to be some clarity on that one right there.
So we really don't know just yet.
So,
Naval Secretary John C. Phelan said in a statement about the race, quote, NASCAR embodies the very best of the American spirit through speed, precision, and the unyielding pursuit of excellence. Holding a race aboard Naval Air Station North Island, the birthplace of naval aviation, is not just a historic first. It's a powerful tribute to the values that we share, grit, teamwork, and love of country. From the flight deck to the finish line, this collaboration reflects the operational intensity and unity of purpose that define both the U.S. Navy and NASCAR. Amy Lupo, who's worked with NASCAR since 2021, helped launch the somewhat questionable clash at the Coliseum, has been named the president of the Navy 250. So good luck with the logistics, Amy. We wish you the best. It was also revealed that all 3 top NASCAR series will be making the trip out west. So not only is the Cup Series going to be there, but so is the Xfinity Series, just like in Chicago. But now they're going to haul the Truck Series all the way out there and run. So, if you're going to do it, I guess. And I understand that to a certain extent. Okay. But again, the logistical situation of this is going to be a nightmare.
Extremely tough.
This is the Amazon Prime portion of the schedule. And that means, if I remember right, NBC Sports had some effect on that, at least this year. I don't know as they will next year. Probably Amazon Prime is going to have it figured out by that point in time. You won't have to rely on anybody else.
Turner did, not NBC.
Oh, okay. But you can probably get it figured out pretty much by yourself by that point in time. Yeah. But you said it during the break. I mean, the logistical side of it, just getting in and getting out is going to be nightmare enough. Again, with 2 bridges and a ferry. Woof. And then on top of that, you're on a naval air station running a race, and we know how many cameras they generally put up for a road course or street course. We've seen it at Chicago. Now we got to be real careful about exactly what you can show.
That's very true. Because now when you... I'm going to go your day job mode for a minute here. When you have those cameras on a military installation, what's going to... And you have adversaries, let's call that. They learn of this. We're going to put our eyes on everything. You can't tell me that question has not been raised, especially from the U.S. Navy, Naval Secretary, and everybody else is involved with that on that side. You can't tell me that it hasn't. Secondly, are they going to use a stinking truck again for race control? Because they're not going to let people get up on that tower just for spotting for the air traffic control tower. You can't.
No.
Are we going to have spotters that are positioned on a carrier? I'm like, oh, hey, I'm in 1 and 2. I'm standing on the edge of the carrier.
I wouldn't think so.
USS Nimitz or whatever.
In that layout that we showed, the basic layout, again, it's not finalized, but if that's the basic layout, there's a lot of buildings in there, which can be used for things like garage area. But what all are you displacing?
They're not gonna have a choice. But looking at the layout of everything, the garages and the paddock area is gonna have to be set on a tarmac. They've got no choice.
Yeah. I don't see it either.
There's no choice.
I mean, you got all these buildings, but, what all's in those buildings that now are really inaccessible for the entire weekend because you got to close it off to be able to hold the race.
You got to.
And at that point in time, are you, depending on exactly what all's in there, other than the air tower, depending on what all is in there, are you having to cover up the names of certain things?
Probably so.
Again, all respect to Amy.
She's got her hands full.
She has more than her hands full.
She's got her hands, her feet,
she and her team,
everything.
She and her team are going to be busting their butts from now until next year.
The second thing I thought of immediately is we're trying to do something that was similar to the old Burke Lakefront Airport in Cleveland for Indycar.
Yeah.
Thirdly, with this promotional video or release video that they did.
They've been working on this for a while.
Oh, too long. You missed the boat to not do a tie-in here. You should have brought Ed Harris in with the line that he used out of there when he's sending Maverick to North Island. I wanted their bags packed and send them to North Island within the hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you missed the boat there.
There's a lot of missed opportunities there.
Because with the chirping, let's call it that, the chirping that has gotten apparently louder and louder and is still getting loud about Days of Thunder 2, here's your chance to do a crossover. You got
big time
Top Gun Maverick Prime Zone crossover to Days of Thunder 2. Right here. There you go.
I mean,
if you do this and this happens, please send the royalties to the state of Alabama to here.
Yes, we'll take them. I'm not convinced of it. I'm looking at the comments that are on CRN Live on YouTube, and I know that those who are watching us, they're not convinced of it either. This is a curiosity. I'll watch it mainly for that. I'm not going to deny it. I'll watch it mainly for that. But I have been firmly unconvinced for all 3 years of the Chicago Street Course race.
Oh, and
this does not give me that much more confidence.
And I've got another thing on it too. Sorry, throat got choked up there. Kennedy did say as well they're working with iRacing to finalize a street court design. Okay, do we have iRacing out scanning a naval base now? Or are we just doing it off of satellite views?
Yeah, we're doing this via Google Earth.
Or how are we doing this? Give us some clarity of how they're doing that. It's Steve Myers, Dale Earnhardt Jr., the two main people of iRacing. Let us know.
Yeah. How
are we doing this? Because I can guarantee you the very second, because I'm thinking back to when Chicago was done, it was probably about, it was almost nearly a year. Almost. When the design of the course and the actual course layout hit iRacing for Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
The very second when this course hits iRacing, I will get it and I will drive it.
Sure.
To figure out to where I'm going to be like, look, this may not be so bad, or I'm going, oh, dear God, what is this?
Yeah. And then there's the question of how smooth is said tarmac.
Yeah. Promise you it ain't going to be like running on freshly paved asphalt.
Yeah. So do they if it's not that smooth, we've talked about this, obviously, there's not a whole lot of ground clearance, especially on the Cup cars. Do they do work on the tarmac to make it any smoother?
I personally don't see the United States Navy going to let a sporting series come in and do a complete repave of tarmacs and runways and stuff just for a race.
Would the U.S. Navy do it? And that's just literally it's just a question. That's all I'm asking.
I don't see it.
I don't know. These are all the things that need to be worked out between now and next June. And that's just the stuff that we can think of.
You got 11 months.
Yeah, that's just the stuff that we can think of right here off the top of our heads. There's so much more that you got to deal with. I'm glad I'm not Amy, and I'm glad I'm not part of her team.
Overall, from Chicago compared to this, the overall scope of the event, I hope it starts out bigger than what Chicago did. Because Chicago a few weeks ago, I recognized a few things on that front stretch that told me, yep, they're done. There was not as much set up on that front stretch from a standpoint than there was the first 2 years.
Yeah.
That told me, yep, they're not going back there because they didn't put up half of what they had put up.
Yeah. And plus, on top of that, we heard all the rumors about Chicagoland coming back and all that. And we know that they weren't going to do 2 races in and around the Chicago area. That was just not going to happen.
Nope.
So,
not at all.
Is it a massive surprise that they decided to run it in San Diego? No, we heard enough rumor to the point where it's not that big of a shock.
I wasn't expecting a military installation.
Wasn't really, no. But over the last couple of weeks, we started hearing more and more about that. Now we suddenly get this particular look at it. Again, whether or not this is the finalized look at it or whether this is just a basic idea of what it might look like, I don't know. Again, I'm not sold on it because I'm not sold that this car is really that well set up for doing this, for street course racing. I get to thinking about this week. Of the series that we cover, Formula One and Indycar both have done street course racing, but Formula One only does a couple of them a year.
Baku.
Maybe one other one. But I'm having a hard time coming up with it.
Albert Park. Melbourne is.
Okay. So just a couple. IndyCar does more when you stop and think of it. I mean, they start off the year in St. Petersburg. They just ran not that long ago in Toronto. They run on the streets of Detroit. They run on Long Beach.
Okay, here we go. Monaco's street course. Baku's a street course. Albert Park is street. Marina Bay in Singapore is a street.
So it's actually more than what I thought.
Jeddah Corniche in Saudi Arabia is a street.
Okay. So you got a handful in IndyCar. You got a little bit more than a handful in Formula One out of a 24 race schedule.
Right.
You got 4 or 5 that I can think of in IndyCar out of a 17 race schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But those cars are better set up, truth be told, to handle running on a street.
Yeah.
NASCAR cars, and I don't care whether you're talking about Cup, Xfinity, or trucks, none of them were built for the idea of running on a street.
Yeah, IndyCar is St. Petersburg, Long Beach, Toronto, Detroit, and when it gets fixed and goes back, Nashville.
Okay, and then we go Arlington starting next year.
Arlington next year.
Okay. But again, those cars are better set up to be able to run on a street course because it's been ingrained longer.
Miami should be considered a street course, considering this in a parking lot, but they actually paved an actual track layout through there. So that's probably why it's defined as an actual track.
Yeah. Now, we have seen NASCAR Cup Series cars going all the way back to the 1960s, maybe even earlier, on road course, dedicated road courses.
Riverside, Ontario, Sonoma, Watkins Glen. That's just the main ones.
Yeah. And this car, I think, is a little bit better set up to be able to do that because...
How the suspension is.
Yeah. Because, I'm talking about the Cup Series car specifically, because they went and did a lot of homework on the Australian Supercar Series cars and kind of loosely based the new this generation of Cup Series car on that. And I don't know as they do anything but road course racing in the Australian Supercar Series.
Yes, straight road course.
So it is a little bit better set up to do that, but that doesn't mean that automatically translates into doing a street course race.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
The one devil's advocate thing that I can play to it is that I can say that if there is a positive to it, it's the fact that you can, if you get the approval of whatever city you want to go to, you can take this literally anywhere.
You can.
Into markets that you've never been to before. You could go to Seattle, you could go to New York City, you could go to Portland, Oregon, which has a dedicated road course, but still. You can go to cities that you've never been to before, never been anywhere really near before. But that's really a minor positive in the grand scheme of things when you're talking about this is not the strength of these cars. And again, I'm going to go all 3 of the top series of NASCAR here. This is not the strength of these vehicles, these race vehicles in the Cup, Xfinity, and Truck Series. And I'm still trying to figure out why they're insisting upon doing it. I have yet to figure that out.
Out of the top 3 series, and I'm going to eliminate the Chicago Street Course. I'm not counting it.
Okay.
The road courses that they are run on.
This is just this year?
No, this is overall for top 3 series.
Okay, all right.
This is counting active and defunct.
Okay.
Mexico. Guess there they run at them. We're going to call it Mexico, Chicago, COTA. Lime Rock.
Right.
Portland.
Yeah.
Sonoma, Watkins Glen. That's considered active.
Mossport.
Defunct.
Yeah.
That has not been ran. No, that has not been ran, but has been ran on by NASCAR.
Whether or not the track's still in existence or not.
Bridgehampton, New York.
Wow.
Mosport. Montreal. Daytona Road Course.
Yeah.
Heartland Park, Topeka.
I forgot about that one.
Indianapolis Road Course. Mid-Ohio. Road America. Road Atlanta. Riverside. Willow Springs. 18 road courses in the entire history of NASCAR Top 3 Series since its inception.
And that's just a tip of the iceberg of the number of road courses that are actually in existence in the United States right now.
Very.
And yet they're going to go and they're going to carve out a street course out of a Navy base. Yeah, I get it. You know, you're celebrating the 250th anniversary of the birthday in one of the most patriotic ways you could possibly think of, which is getting right up next to the military. But I'm still not sold on it. I'm just not sold on street course racing with NASCAR. I see it in Formula One. I see it in Indycar. I've had some questions when it comes to some of the courses Indycar goes on because, man, that stuff will rattle your fillings out.
Don't touch that dial. The Championship Racing Network will be right back. And 2 cans of fuel, and we're back to more racing action on the Championship Racing Network.
Short break this time around. Want to get back into it here as we get into hour number 2. Steve West, Matt Nicholson in studio, producer John on CRN Live on YouTube. So thank you very much for checking us out, whether it's on CRN Live, subscribe and comment. We love it. Or be part of the chat. We love that too. Or whether you're listening to us on our flagship station, 95.1 The Mountain, thank you very much. Joey Logano, 3-time Cup Series champion, closing in on 40 Cup Series wins. Last weekend at Dover actually marked his 600th career Cup Series start. And that's notable because he becomes the youngest driver in Cup history to reach that milestone. His first career start coming with Joe Gibbs Racing in November of 2008. He was driving a Home Depot-sponsored 02 car. All this was in preparation for him set to take over the number 20 Home Depot car from Tony Stewart the next year. He would run 2 more races in that 2008 season in the 02 Home Depot car before he switched over to the 20 car when Smoke left and officially formed and debuted Stewart-Haas Racing. Logano's been full-time in the Cup Series since 2009's Daytona 500, hasn't missed a race in his career to date. And that is something that's actually quite notable when you stop and think about it, because all the things that could happen and all the things that have happened to Joey Logano in that time, and to not have an injury serious enough to the point where he's missed a race is notable.
Mm-hmm.
Set of the milestone in the street, quote, "I'm going to keep going. There have been weekends I probably should have taken off, but I have timed it out pretty well, whether it's the birth of children or those types of things. You never got put into that what do I do situation. I've always been in a position where I've been able to be okay up until this point, and I'm proud of that. And yeah, you should be. That and 3 titles doesn't hurt." Speaking of Joe Gibbs Racing, they and Denny Hamlin announced just yesterday, as we air live on this Saturday morning, on Friday during a media session at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, they have come to terms on a 2-year extension, going to keep him in the 11 car through 2027 at least. Hamlin has 58 Cup Series wins going into this weekend, and that's good enough to be 11th on the all-time Cup Series wins list now. 4 wins so far this year, but he doesn't have a Cup Series title to his name. He's also the longest tenured driver in the Cup Series. He's topped 700 starts a little earlier this season, and of all those starts that have come behind the wheel of one car, the 11 car. Has 3 wins in the Daytona 500, 3 Southern 500 wins, got a Coca-Cola 600 win, so he's missing 1 crown jewel win. And that's where they're going to race this weekend, Brickyard 400. Qualified for the playoffs 18 times, made it to the final round of those playoffs 4 times. He has just never been able to claim a title. And every year we hear the different sides of this. Well, I think this might be his year. You know, he's got 4 wins on the year. It looks like the team's locked in. Prove it to me in the playoffs.
Right.
Because for whatever reason, this 11 team, doesn't matter who's the crew chief, doesn't matter who's on the crew.
Yeah.
Whether it's the driver behind the wheel or somebody on the crew, they do one little thing and it scuttles the whole playoff picture to the point where he doesn't come away with the title. You've got to prove it to me under that hotter spotlight. Going through the regular season's one thing. You got to do it in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's true in any sport that you talk about. Cup Series, NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, pick it.
Mm-hmm.
You can be a great regular season team all you want to be, but if you can't do it in the playoffs, are you still that great?
It's about execution.
The one argument that I could give for a great team that is actually underrated that never won a title would be that Buffalo Bills team that went to 4 straight Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they lost all 4 of them, but you go to 4 straight, that's an accomplishment.
Very.
But in the end, you didn't win one.
Dallas.
And that is the problem with Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, very.
It doesn't matter. You can get to the championship game, but if you can't win the championship, that's a problem. And
absolutely.
That's why last year I didn't put him in the Final 4 when we made our predictions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's why this year, even though he is in the playoffs, I'm going to have a hard time sending him all that deeply into the playoffs. Preview.
It'll be tough.
I can't do it.
It's sad that I can remember his first ARCA start at Talladega. Driving a red Pontiac. It was prepared by Joe Gibbs, and he had the number 49 on it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that goes back a ways.
Yes, it does.
Then there's 7-time Cup Series champion Jimmy Johnson. So we go from the no-time champion Denny Hamlin to the 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson's already in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. He's now the owner of Legacy Motor Club. He's been running in select races in the team's 3rd non-chartered car, the number 84. He's run 2 races so far this year. Says he might get into 1 or 2 more, but he's actually looking more now at 2026. He said this week that there's, quote, a chance that I run more races next year. Of course, he's been saying that the last couple of years. I might run more races next year. He singled out one race in particular. Shockingly, it's the street course we just talked about, the Navy 250 in San Diego. But that holds something of a special place in Jimmy Johnson's heart because he grew up in El Cajon, California. That's about 15 miles outside of San Diego. So, yeah, there'd be a home course race for him, definitely. Despite being set to turn 50 later this year, Johnson said he doesn't feel close to being done with the driving part of his motorsports career. Told NBC Sports this week, quote, "I want to keep going. I want to stay in a car. I think it's good for us." Us, the team? Us, NASCAR? Who's us?
Team.
Okay, just checking. He continued on, "We're hopeful to have a third charter. Need to start building a team. There's a chance that I run more races next year if we have a third charter on the docket and have a sponsor to bring along, team members to groom, a crew chief to get reps, a driver to get reps. There's also a lot of scenarios that are in play. I'm hopeful that I can keep going." There's that charter situation rearing its ugly head again. And I'm not going to get into the whole 2311 and Front Row Motorsports thing. They set up yet another situation for an injunction where they want to act like they're chartered teams. Again, we got to wait until December 1st for this whole thing to break down.
Yeah.
But I still ask this question, and I'm going to ask it until the end of time. Where are you going to get the charter? There aren't that many teams that are willing to sell now that NASCAR has limited it, grandfathering in Hendrick Motorsports and Joe Gibbs to 4. Now you're limited to 3 cars by the rules. And just about all the teams that are left, other than Hendrick and Gibbs, are 3-car teams, except for the ones that want to be, or they're single-car teams, and they chose to be that. So you're left with Hayek Motorsports and Haas F1, as we talked about. I don't think Gene Haas is willing to give up that charter right now. And Hayek just basically came in.
And I think Hayek may be on their way out.
You think this soon?
Yeah, because something's just telling me that.
Okay.
Plus, with all this charter chirping,
yeah,
you're probably about to see somebody throw down $75 to $100 million just to get a charter, which is going to be insanely stupid.
Yeah. I mean, considering right now that the highest we've heard is 40 for a sale, that's effectively doubling.
And Spire probably overpaid for that one.
Yeah, probably so.
That by buying that 78 charter, they overpaid for it. And look what BJ McLeod went and done. He built a racing mountain coaster in Pigeon Forge.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where he's going to. I get where Jimmy Johnson's coming from. He wants that third charter because he wants to be up there with all the big guys. Mm-hmm. But where are you getting it?
Yeah. And then the part of it Matt Tift had, he's apparently buying Mansfield and revamping Mansfield.
Yeah. So we'll see. Time will tell. On to lighter notes here. The King apparently still reigns in NASCAR. He is still a big-time pull for the fans, and Sugarland Shine plans to highlight that once again. On August the 8th, Sugarland's distilling company is set to release something called Petty Punch Moonshine at their Gatlinburg distillery. Fans are going to get the chance to meet Petty himself from 2 to 4 p.m. that afternoon. Petty Punch Moonshine is going to come in 750 milliliter mason jars with a mix of Sugarland Shine and a fruit punch. The debut is going to be in Gatlinburg, but if you can't make it there, it'll be available shortly thereafter at select retailers around the nation. If you'd like to find one of them, go to findmoonshine.com. The label will feature Petty's notable silhouette, cowboy hat, sunglasses, and all. Continues their collaboration, their first one actually coming last year with what was called Roaming Man Richard Petty Rye Whiskey. There's a name. Patrick Sullivan, Sugarland's chief revenue officer, said, quote, "We've had the privilege of working with Richard on some very special projects. Petty Punch is a true reflection of his enduring legacy, and with this release, we wanted to create something that celebrates Richard in a fun, authentic way while creating something that fans can enjoy and collectors will be eager to get their hands on." My question is in looking at this label, is that a wrap around the bottle, or is that the actual color
That's a
of
wrap.
the punch?
That's a wrap.
Because if that's the color of the punch, man, that will grab your attention on a shelf.
That is definitely a wrap, because I've been in the Sugarland Shine store and they wrap their bottles.
Okay. All right. Still, I didn't buy the whiskey last year. I didn't come across it at a location where I was able to go get it. I'm not so certain that I would buy this, but at the same time, it would be neat for a collector who is a big Richard Petty fan.
Last time that I was up there 2 years ago, that's when I brought back that Eggo sipping cream.
Yeah, which can be addictive.
Very.
We'll just put it that way.
Yeah. And every one of their bottles are wrapped.
Okay.
That's
All right.
real. They've got a good size store up there.
Yeah, they do. And they've done a nice job. They were partners with us over at Talladega Super Speedway several years ago, and they've done a very nice job of building out that system and that company. I give them a lot of credit. Speedway Classic Major League Baseball game set to come to Bristol Motor Speedway next weekend. They're going to play August 2nd, one game only. The teams are the Cincinnati Reds and the Atlanta Braves. Why those two? Well, Bristol's about, give or take, midway between Cincinnati's home park and Atlanta's home park. So we'll just have them meet in the middle. They're sporting uniforms that are going to be recognizable to their ardent fans, but also have some specifics related to the history of racing at Bristol.
Jeez.
For example, the numbers on the front, for the Reds anyway, and the back of the jersey is going to be custom for this one game. They were designed by Nike, the official uniform maker for Major League Baseball, to resemble those that are on the sides of racers. They're outlined, shadowed, tilted, as are most of the numbers on the sides of NASCAR racers. And, of course, they're going to be wearing special baseball caps. One-game-only baseball caps have a racing feel to them as well. The flames will be on the bill of the Braves cap, and a checkered flag showing up on the bill of the Reds cap. And you can see that on CRN Live on YouTube from the number 1 for Atlanta and the 44 of Cincinnati.
Now that the layout is fully seen and how it lays out, I've got a problem.
I'm going to go back to what I was asking when it came to San Diego. Just one?
Multiple.
Yeah.
They took down one of their buildings that was in the infield that was used for, I think it was the Goodyear building for tire storage. They took it down. Now they got to rebuild it.
And whose dime is that on, by the way? Is that Major League Baseball, or does it go to SMI?
I'm pretty sure
Who
it's
gets the
going to
bill
be.
for that?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be MLB. Okay. You look at how the third base line and the first base lines are. You've got over half of your pit wall that has been taken out just to lay a baseball field out.
Yeah.
Thirdly, who is going to be the first individual that hits a pop fly where Colossus interferes? Because look, it sits directly
the scoreboard's
over.
right there.
It sits directly over the third base area.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see it in that picture right there. They're keeping it up there, and I would assume that they're going to use it.
Oh yeah, and I can say now, I don't see anybody launching a home run that hits the actual stands of the racetrack.
No. Although left field is looking to be fairly short.
Left field is short porch.
You probably, if you hit one really, really well, you might be able to hit the straightaway there of the actual racing circuit.
That's probably to hit the stands. Looking at that picture, you're gonna have to launch.
You're gonna have to crank one.
You're gonna have to launch one at least. I'm gonna say at least 5'10".
Yeah, and unlike when they did the football game there between Tennessee and Virginia Tech several years ago, and they got 170,000 people in the stands. That's the record that probably will never be broken when it comes to number of fans in attendance at a college football game.
Yeah, probably not.
You're not going to be able to match that based upon what you're looking at here, because they built some temporary grandstands around, you can see that, behind home plate and over towards third base. And they've got that one area, and I'll be honest with you, I can't remember whether that's turns 1 and 2 or 3 and 4.
That is 1 and 2 on the south end.
They've got those tarped up.
No,
So-
that's 3 and 4 on the south end.
Okay.
That's 1 and 2 on the north end.
coming
3
up.
and 4 on the south end.
Okay.
Of the picture.
But either way, they've got those tarped up. So you're not probably going to have anybody on that end of the track. You're probably going to start putting people in about midway down the straightaways. Give or take.
From the seating charts that I have seen, and leave it to me because I forgot that I had a previously scheduled engagement that day to something dealing with my family, because I was looking at, because tickets have dropped considerably. I was considering going up there to spectate this, but from the layouts that they have on Ticketmaster, basically where the third baseline seats are, you go in a straight line up the racetrack's grandstands. Everything from there That on the picture, look at it north, south, east, west. Everything from there south is going to be seated.
Okay. So run a straight line, third base seating right across the track, and then it's okay.
Yep.
So
there's a very, very high chance
90 to 100,000?
I was
Capable? Let me put it that way.
Capable?
Capable. 90 to 100,000?
Unless they're a very realistic chance, 80.
Okay. All right. I have to admit, I haven't looked up the Major League record for all-time attendance at a baseball game.
What I'm about to do.
So we'll do that while we take this break. And when we come back, one more note when it comes to NASCAR specifically, and it goes to you gamers. You mentioned iRacing just a minute ago. iRacing is now the official video game manufacturer for NASCAR. And they have the announcement of when the new NASCAR video game is coming out. We'll give you details of the date and some of the details of the game when we come back here on CRN.
Stay right here for more on the Championship Racing Network.
All the things that I should know when it comes to Boston Red Sox trivia, I should have realized that they actually are one of the teams that hold the attendance record.
Spud Freeman would be disappointing you.
I know, wouldn't he? So the all-time record for attendance at a Major League Baseball game is
115,300.
Now, this was because when Boston played the Angels, who have gone through so many
Dodgers.
different... Oh, was it the
Dodgers.
Dodgers? So that was an exhibition game then.
It was played in March.
Yeah, so that was a spring training game. They played it at the LA Coliseum. Yeah. By the way, you want to talk about trying to shoehorn a baseball field into a football stadium? That was a massive problem.
Yeah, buddy.
115,000. So in looking at it, basically the grandstands of Bristol Motor Speedway, as we know them, they're going to go all the way back to the turns.
Yes,
So there's going to be some obstructed view seats.
the stands are going to be open from the exit of turn 4 all the way around to the entry of turn 3. So you're going to have if you're sitting anywhere basically from the start finish line at Bristol straight across and back towards turn 3 and 4, you have a severely obstructed view.
But we also looked up the tickets, and there aren't a whole lot of seats available in many of those sections that we looked at.
Via Ticketmaster, they're not horrible.
Yeah, the prices aren't that bad either.
I mean,
really
no.
good seats over there along kind of in left center field. We looked at it down right by the track. Those seats, most expensive one, I'd say most expensive ones in that section were like $85.
But
That's not horrible.
looking in turn 1, in the turn 1 area, which is the right field foul pole, let's call it that.
Okay.
That is not the bottom section, but really section 3, $23, and it's unobstructed.
Yeah. Take some binoculars with you, which you probably want to do anyway, just to be able to go look at some details, and you're good to go.
Yeah, I mean it's not terrible.
Yeah. So we'll see whether or not they break the all-time record or not. It, judging by the seating chart that we see, though, it looks like that is within range. We'll see whether it actually happens. NASCAR and iRacing have announced the latest video game console game set for release on October the 14th. It is very simply titled NASCAR 25. Game's going to be available for PlayStation 5, Xbox X and S, or on PC through Steam shortly after October the 14th.
I'll stick with a regular iRacing.
There you go. This is the first standalone game that is produced by iRacing. It will feature all 3 top NASCAR series, and for the first time ever on a console game, include the Arca Menards series. Real drivers will be included, as well as a career mode where you, the gamer, if you choose to buy this, could create your own driver and vehicles. And you can go so far as to manage contracts, manage the budget, the facility, and the staff of the race team, along with making decisions both on and off the track to build up your driver and or team, all the way from an Arca Menards series team to a cup team that could win multiple titles.
The one biggest gripe that I've seen about this entire thing is you have to start your career mode in Arca.
Have to.
You have no choice.
Okay. All right.
And some of the graphics are so large that it pulls your frames down very, very low, which causes a lot of lag.
Okay.
So
early versions, we don't know whether they might be able to get the bugs worked out before they officially release it.
They're going to have to.
Okay.
They're going to have to.
All right. Let's switch over to Formula One here. Those 2 seats over at Cadillac are still up for grabs. Do not believe anybody who says the seats are spoken for. They are not. Do we have leaders in the clubhouse? Very possibly, but rumors are flying, obviously. One of the drivers rumored to be on the short list and or interested in it is actually IndyCar driver Pato O'Ward. But then you get reporters who actually go and get the information, like a good journalist should do.
Ding.
When he was asked about it in Toronto last weekend, where he won his 2nd race of the year, he laughed it off. Hello. He equated rumors that link him to the Cadillac F1 team similar to rumors that linked Fernando Alonso, F1 driver right now, to pop singer Taylor Swift, who last I checked was dating the Kansas City Chiefs tight end. O'Ward insists there's no basis for the rumors that linked him to the F1 operation, but reports do indeed and have linked him to the F1 operation for a couple of years now, back when it was still considered to be an Andretti Global situation. Somewhat fueled by his being a McLaren F1 team reserve driver. He did, however, make a prediction that his countrymate, Sergio Perez, would be returning to the F1 grid instead. Quote, I think his departure from Formula One wasn't what he wanted. If he chooses not to return, he'll still be an idol, but if he chooses to return, he will still be an idol. I don't think it changes much there, but I already saw him in training, and it wouldn't be in training if he wasn't coming back. Now, Cadillac could do a lot worse than putting Sergio Perez behind the wheel.
I think one seat is his.
And we have talked about the fact that he has been linked to this for quite a while now. The other one is linked by most people to Valtteri Bottas. So if they go with Bottas and Sergio Perez, that already eliminates the idea that Michael Andretti had that he wanted to have an American-born driver from day one. But in the grand scheme of things, is that the most important thing? Or do you want to step up there with drivers who really know what they're talking about? Because both Perez and Bottas have won, not just competed, but won in Formula One, and can tell you, you got this right, but this is wrong. By the way, there's construction in the building, if you hear that in the background.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. I was like, what in the world is that?
I mean, what's more important to you?
But if it's me, if I'm Graham Loudon, I'm putting keisters in seats that know how to win, that have won, and can win still.
And can tell you
exactly
this is what's
what
good
needs.
with the car.
Yes.
And this is what the car needs.
Yes.
And then later, when one of them when you decide that you're done, or they decide that they're done racing,
right.
Then you start ushering in a rookie or a young driver who happens to be born in America.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not going to stop one American-born driver who says that he is very interested in it. Jack Crawford. Crawford is racing in Formula 2 this year, is battling for the title in that division. When he was asked about his future, whether he's talked to officials with Cadillac, he only said this, quote, it's hard to tell what they want. I heard they want an American driver in the seat at some point. Those are three very key words. At some point.
It is true.
I think looking at it from my side, Crawford continued, if I was to win the championship in F2 or finish very high, I feel like it would almost be a missed opportunity to not have an American driver in the seat. Of course, at the beginning, maybe for Cadillac, it's not ideal, but obviously speaking for me, that's how I see it. Cadillac team principal Graham Loudon insists that filling the driver seats is not anywhere near the top of the priority list for the operation at this time. And I can understand that because we're just now starting to get into silly season, and the silly season this year is much more concentrated on the team principals because of what Red Bull did by jettisoning Christian Horner.
True, but I've got to disagree with Loudon. You've got to put it as it might not be the top priority, but it has to be a priority to you where you know what you're building your operation around.
Yeah. So that brings up the question, if I put you in the position of Graham Loudon, you are the team principal at Cadillac.
Mm-hmm.
What is your drop dead date to have both seats, not just one, but both seats filled? What's your drop dead date?
We're putting the car on the grid in 2026.
March, yes. And, driver who's got an unsettled nature in that organization. Verstappen's been linked to Mercedes for that and one other reason, that Russell's contract is up at the end of this year. And from what we understand, not a whole lot of advancement has been made on an extension between Russell and Mercedes. But it is interesting to note that his management team is under the Mercedes umbrella. Wolff talked to the Australian television station looking ahead to 2026, said, quote, the direction of travel is that we want to continue with George and Kimi. It's our first priority. You can't look past somebody like Max and the plans that he has for the future. We did that, but I don't think that there will be any big surprises. Is that him blowing smoke?
A lot. A lot.
Gotcha.
Several rounds of it.
Speaking of team principals, whether he knows it for sure or not, you can't say. I mean, again, you get people that get on a podcast and they'll say stuff, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Former F1 driver Ralf Schumacher, the brother of Michael, talked to a German podcast and claimed that Ferrari and their team principal Fred Vasseur are working on, and they are close to signing an extension of his contract. This is all despite some recent rumors that Vasseur is under pressure to have the team perform even better than what they are. And now there's Christian Horner, again, available, who could start in 2026 once he sits out his gardening period. and made the pressure even more apparent, according to some reports. Vasseur has been with Scuderia Ferrari since the 2023 season. He is working towards bringing it back into championship form. They did improve from 2023 to 2024, where they finished second, only 14 points behind Constructors' Cup champ McLaren. This year, they've kind of backslid a little bit. They come into this weekend third in constructor points behind McLaren, who's running away with it, and Mercedes. So we'll see whether or not that rolls on.
Yep.
And while ESPN has not confirmed it, reports are that the network, which currently has the U.S. rights to air Formula One, has dropped out of the negotiations to continue to be the U.S. TV rights holders beginning next year and then beyond. It appears that the recent bid by Apple, reported to be in the range of $150 million annually, apparently scared Disney off. Disney, of course, is the parent company of ESPN and ABC, because that number is right around double the $75 million that they're paying now annually to air things on ESPN, ESPN2, and ABC. Now, ESPN may have been hoping for pretty much exactly what Apple has done, because if you think about it, ESPN had an exclusive rights window period where they could have basically said, okay, we're going to extend it right here, right now.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody could have argued.
Mm-hmm.
But they let that lapse.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still claiming a willingness to extend the deal. Problem is, they wanted to keep it about the same amount that they're currently paying. Netflix and Amazon expressed some interest. Netflix, obvious, because of their success with F1 Drive to Survive. Amazon, getting bigger and bigger into sports. But it appears Apple's come in with an offer that has scared all the other interested parties off. Again, nothing's official, so we'll see what happens between now and what happens towards the end of this year when ESPN's deal runs out and Formula One really wants to find out who their U.S. partner is going to be. We're going to switch from the fine folks over in Formula One to IndyCar when we come back. We got a pretty interesting look at a car. A few weeks ago, we showed you a special car that had the Black Sabbath Ozzy scheme on it. Well, those same guys are at it again with another new look in their partnership with Sirius XM Satellite Radio. We'll show it to you. Plus, we still got some news from the Craftsman Truck Series and Formula E after this.
We will be right back with more on the Championship Racing Network. Go, go, go. We're back to the Championship Racing Network.
We are indeed. Final segment of this weekend's show, and we are into IndyCar news, where Meyer Shank Racing's partnership with SiriusXM Satellite Radio has netted some pretty cool paint schemes, or liveries, if you want to use the F1 way of looking at it. Recently, that was the partnership that gave us that Black Sabbath Ozzy Osbourne look ahead of that concert on July 5th, as it turned out Ozzy's final concert before he passed away earlier this week due to complications from Parkinson's disease. He was amongst 6 different celebrities that passed away this week. What
Crazy
in the world was the Grim Reaper doing this week? Slow down, man. Next look to hit the track, gonna be this weekend. WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, appropriate location considering that the band they're gonna highlight this week is based out of San Francisco. It is the Grateful Dead. This is a bright tie-dye look that's set to adorn the number 60 racer of Felix Rosenquist. Highlights, obviously, the Grateful Dead channel. It's channel 23 if you happen to be on SiriusXM Satellite Radio. Honors 60 years of the famous band. My wife loves tie-dye shirts, but I'm not sure I could sell her on that.
I see where you're coming from with that, but with the great Karen West, I don't put nothing past her. I put nothing past her.
I think the biggest problem is if it was just the colors, she'd get it. With the Grateful Dead logo,
yeah.
which, is the famous skull, she's not big on that. And she's never been a big Deadhead. Neither one of us have. I like some Grateful Dead, but I'm not going to every concert.
Yeah.
Follow what I mean?
Yep.
Let's see what's next here. IndyCar team facilities. Talked about it last week on the show, mentioned Arrow McLaren, but really didn't give any details about it because we didn't really have them. Those details became available this week. Now think about this. They bought the old Andretti Autosport location after Andretti built out their new, larger facility big enough to be able to move into. It turns out that Arrow McLaren officials have decided they're actually going to need a little bit more room. And as it stands, their current facility, or old facility, if you want to look at it that way, 33,000 square feet. This one, the old Andretti building, ups them to 86,000 square feet. Nice.
I've been to that shop. It is absolutely massive.
Yeah. Team officials released a statement that said, in part, quote, the new location nearly triples the square footage that the team operates out of today, improving overall workflow, day-to-day operations. Renovations have been carefully designed and planned to increase adaptability while providing state-of-the-art equipment, technology, and workspaces. Amongst the significant changes to the building, Arrow McLaren plans to introduce an expanded lobby showcasing the team's success and heritage, a new second-floor mezzanine, a premier fitness center, and a new elevator to enhance accessibility. Exterior of the building will also experience a facelift with some additional windows, architectural elements, and oh yeah, gotta have the repaint to align with McLaren Racing's Papaya Orange brand identity. Mm-hmm. It is a bright building if you're looking at it. At least the top facade, top fascia is anyway. Overall, it's a good looking building. I mean, it really is. And I'm a little surprised that Andretti left. But again, Andretti wanted to bring all of their racing teams within one building. Mm-hmm. And if you think about what Andretti Global has now under the TWG Motorsports Group umbrella, their intention was to have all those teams, again, under one roof. They wanted to have their IndyCar, their Indy Next, their Formula E, their IMSA, their Formula One team. Plans continue with that, including F1. Now, despite the problems with Michael Andretti as part of the F1 thing, under the TWG banner, the team was approved, Cadillac F1. So that area of the workshop will indeed be dedicated to Formula One after all. So that's got to be a humongous facility, the new one for Andretti, TWG. I'm not exactly sure how many square feet it is.
Yeah.
But even their old one, it's big enough for Arrow McLaren to be very happy with doing what they're doing. And they probably have a little bit of room to expand out if they choose to. For example, bring in an Indy Next operation, which I don't know if that's in the plans. I'm just saying now they've got the room to be able to do it if that's what they want to do.
Yeah. Because when I went up there a few years ago, I did drive by the Arrow McLaren shop, seen it. Did see the Andretti shop as well. And yes, they've got more than what they need to do to get things done for and to add an NXT team as well.
Yeah.
So just time will tell, but it's going to be a lot better for them for space-wise because the other one was
tiny in comparison.
33,000 square feet
versus 86.
For the ones that are locally eccentric here to East Alabama or we're at right now.
Okay.
I'll give you a comparison. 33,000 square feet is smaller than the Publix supermarket. I'm dead serious because that Publix supermarket is 48,000 square feet.
Yeah.
33,000 square feet is smaller than a Publix supermarket that sits off exit 188 on I-20 in Oxford.
That'll say something.
Big time.
Yeah. Here's why I kind of bring up the idea that they might want to start an Indy Next team, because you want to get your kind of development driver or whatever you want to call it system running, because we continue to hear more and more interest from people who are not currently in IndyCar into getting into it on a full-time basis. And here's the strange thing about it. They already have more full-time teams than they do open starting slots for any particular race. At this time, other than the Indy 500, race entries are limited to 27 cars. But that didn't stop Prema Racing from coming in, and they have been moderately successful in their first year in the IndyCar charter era, despite not having one. It also doesn't appear to be a deterrent to Don Cusick and his Cusick Motorsports, and this might be even a little bit more of a shock because Cusick is now 69 years old, when most people are thinking about being done. But he doesn't want to slow down. TalkToRacer.com this week said that there was ongoing discussions with Indy Next and IndyCar teams about expanding his operation out. Quote, "We loved working with Dennis Reinbold in Indianapolis, and we'd be open to working with his team again. At this moment, we don't have any plans put in place for Dennis or any of the other teams, but there are teams who are willing to talk to us. We definitely plan to be back for 2026. His partnership with Dreyer and Reinbold Racing to get into the Indy 500 came back in 2023 when he sponsored the car, helped put Stephen Wilson behind the wheel. But when Wilson got injured, it opened things up for Graham Rahal to drive the car. He missed making the Indy 500 on bump day. That's why I like bump day, because it does stuff like that. Bumps out a name like Graham Rahal.
To answer the question of how big that Andretti building is going to be in Fishers,
okay,
just a measly 575,000 square feet.
So he went from 86,000 to 5. You do the math on the percentage of growth on that one.
7 times larger.
Good night, old.
That is adjacent to the Indianapolis Metropolitan Airport.
Not a bad location to be.
Nope.
Cusick returned as a co-owner of the two entries in 2024, had drivers Ryan Hunter-Reay and Connor Daly, helped bring sponsorship in for that race, paired again earlier this year, bringing back Ryan Hunter-Reay, and went to Jack Harvey for the second car. Noted with the new car coming in 2028, might be interested in coming into IndyCar on a full-time basis. Quote, "What we've been doing since we got into IndyCar with joining forces is where we're going to stay until maybe it's time to consider doing more. But we're constantly talking with sponsors who want to be involved, and I feel confident of the talks we've had since May that we'll be part of the Indy 500 again next year." As I said, we're limited to 27 right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't get all the cars in right now from all the 27 slots. I mean, we're good.
Right.
He's going to come in, and this is going to pop up full-time entries to right around the 30 mark, 30, 31.
Mm-hmm.
That shows the interest in wanting to go racing and wanting to go racing within IndyCar, which I can appreciate.
Yeah.
But I do wonder when people are going to go, well, we're not really all that assured of getting a starting spot. Do I really want to take that money, invest it, and not get into races?
That's a good question.
Where's that tipping balance?
It's hard to say. Honestly, it's hard to say.
Yeah. And we've talked about it. And yes, the prices have gone up. I get it. But we've talked about the hierarchy of how much it costs to put out a team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Formula One obviously is the biggest one. It's 140. We'll just use that as a nice round number because that's not the exact number, but we'll put it at 140 just for ease of talking about it.
Right.
Your budget's capped at 140 million per car. To put a Cup Series car out on the track, 25 to 30. To be considered competitive, 25 to 30 million. To put an IndyCar car out on the track used to be in the $5 million area. Now it's in the 8 to 10. But when you look at it in comparison to NASCAR or Formula One, that's a relative bargain.
NHRA is cheaper.
NHRA is still cheaper, but even that's starting to creep up into that $8 to $10 million mark.
It's getting there, yeah.
Okay. IHRA is probably even a little bit less because they haven't quite gotten up to, money equals horsepower, so to speak.
Right.
So, but I would say IHRA is probably still in around that same area. I've never found out how much it costs to put a Formula E car out on the track. So I'll let you look that up. But when you think about it, it's, again, a relative bargain to put an Indy car out onto the track. But when you're going in there and you're investing $8 to $10 million per car, and you have many more entries available than you do starting positions, where's the balance tip that says, I'm starting to throw good money after bad? And that's the situation that somebody like Don Cusick and Prema are going to have to be dealing with as they look towards the future and whether or not they're going to continue trying to get in to IndyCar races on a full-time basis.
The only thing I can see that is actually, I would consider legitimate, Forbes done an article back in 2019 about how much it really costs to run a Formula E team.
Mm-hmm.
They state that it's around 4% of the cost of running it, 4% of the cost to run a Formula E team versus a Formula One car. So 4% of a Formula One budget, which equates out to about $5.6 million.
Okay, so they're all three of those are right in the same, or four of those if you want to include IHRA. IndyCar, NHRA, IHRA, Formula One, they're all in the same area between 5 and 10 million.
Close.
Okay, that helps. We'll see. I wish him all the best. Obviously, the more the merrier. But to a certain extent, you got to figure out whether or not you're throwing good money after bad. And if you are, then that's not going to help you in the long run. Competition's one thing, but not being able to get into a race, that's another thing entirely.
It's true.
Craftsman Truck Series news where McAnally Hilgeman Racing has decided a couple of things this week. Number one, they're changing things up as they head towards the playoffs. They noted that they are taking the pit crews for the number 19 and number 91 teams, and they are swapping them. Crew chiefs, too. Josh Graham, now on the 91 for Jack Wood. Over on the 19, crew's going to be led by Kevin Bellacourt. Funny thing is the team didn't state the reason for making the switch.
Playoffs lurking.
They think the one team is that much better than the other?
Hemrick compared to Jack Wood, absolutely.
I get the driver, but I'm talking about the crews.
Well,
are the crews that much different from each other?
Kevin Bellacourt's got a lot more experience than Josh Graham does.
And so they just wanted to keep the whole squad together because they're familiar with each other's communications.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out what the situation is. And, Jack Wood probably, doesn't have the same amount of experience as Kevin Bellacourt. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you do kind of wonder.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm sorry, Josh Graham for Jack Wood. So it's just one of those things that's just kind of curious. You're going to take the whole thing and switch it over when Daniel Hemrick has had some success with what he's had.
Yeah.
But I guess they think that they can do better.
Getting ready for that playoff run, I guess.
Yeah. Team also announced they're going to enter a third truck for a couple of races later this year to put Christian Eckes behind the wheel. Eckes is full-time now in the Xfinity Series, but he did race for McAnally Hilgeman and claimed the 2024 regular season title with them. He'll get to race the number 16 Chevrolet Silverado, or did actually last night, and will a couple of more races later this year. Sponsorship from AAA Premium Battery out of Richmond, Virginia. The two races going to be at, naturally, Richmond, August 15th, New Hampshire, September the 20th.
This is Brother Bill's going Thor Sport mode, putting half the field on the grid. It seems like.
Yeah, seems like it, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then in Formula E, the silly season is definitely underway over there, even though they still have the race today and tomorrow to finish out the season. Jaguar TCS set to have a different driver lineup with their confirmation that Nick Cassidy is leaving the team after this weekend season finale doubleheader. The New Zealand native driver is finishing a 2-year deal, is expected to be moving over to one of the two Stellantis-powered teams for next year. So that narrows it down to either being DS Penske or Maserati as they're known now, but it seems like they're probably going to undergo a name change for next year. Hotshot rookie Taylor Bernard, who's running for McLaren this year, is officially out of a ride after this weekend because, as we have talked about on the show, Noah McLaren, no more after this year. They couldn't even sell the operation to anybody. So next year, it appears right now, Formula E is going to drop from 11 teams to 10. Thing is, Taylor Bernard, as long as the silly season rumor mill is around, he won't be out of a job for long. They also have him going to a Stellantis-powered organization. Racer.com says that it's likely going to be DS Penske. An official announcement is pending on that. Other notes in the rumor mills got Antonio Felix da Costa taking over the seat being vacated by Nick Cassidy at Jaguar, and that leaves Tag Heuer Porsche looking for a new driver if that's true. Jake Hughes is also said to be in consideration for Cassidy's seat. So a lot of people concentrated on Jaguar. The interesting part of it for me is that Tag Heuer Porsche is battling for the Constructors' Cup title, as Formula One would call it, but yet we aren't hearing a whole lot of people being linked to that.
Not at all.
And then one more note here when it comes to this, and this is maybe the more important part of the whole thing, in that the FIA has agreed to an extension of their promotional agreement with Formula E, now extending through the 2048 season. This comes on the back of Liberty Media's majority purchase of the series last year. They don't own 100% of it, but they own a majority of it. Mike Free, CEO of Liberty Media, said, quote, "We've believed in Formula E since day one, and this extension reaffirms our confidence in where it's headed. It's the motorsport of the future." We'll see about that. Championship that combines the very latest technology, close combat racing, and a mission that really matters. The FIA's continued backing. We can now take the next steps, scaling the sport up, growing its global fan base, and continuing to push the boundaries of what electric racing can achieve. With this new agreement in place, Formula E is now positioned better than ever to define the future of motorsport, more innovative, more inclusive, more sustainable. Okay. To inspire the next generation of fans, drivers, and partners around the world. Extension of this agreement governing the FIA Formula E World Championship is a fantastic outcome for the sport and a clear reflection of our ongoing strategy, the FIA, to foster long-term stability, innovation, and growth across all areas of motorsport. This coming from FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem. He continued, quote, "This milestone reaffirms our commitment to the innovation, sustainability, and technological progress, all of which are central to the championship's unique identity and purpose, and aligns with our broader goal of increasing global participation and driving more accessible motorsport for all. Delighted to continue with this journey with Formula E, and I look forward to seeing it grow even further, both on and off the track in the years to come." How much it will, I don't know.
Sure.
Because they're running a bunch of very short races, both in length of the track, which is generally a street course, and in the time that it takes to run the race, which is 45 minutes plus one lap.
Yeah.
And on top of that, as I noted at the top of this show, it is their season finale doubleheader weekend. CBS Sports has the rights to Formula E here in the United States, but yet when you try to figure out where you can find it to watch it, CBS Sports can't tell me. And that's been a constant all year long.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to get eyeballs on your sport, it might help to have the biggest television market on the planet know where the heck you can see it.
Bingo.
So that's job one, Liberty Media.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all have a great week. We'll talk to you on Cross Flags on Tuesday.
This has been a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.